Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Nike KD15, Kevin Durant's 15th signature shoe with Nike. This shoe is going for 150 bucks. It's finally on Nike.com. There's two colorways actually. It's not available yet. It's coming out soon though. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. I believe it was the end of this month. So if you guys do want to come, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. If you don't want to wait, you can always order it on GOAT or StockX, and I wasn't going for that much over retail. So anyways, let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and in this color we have a lot of colors, a variety of colors actually. It is a solid rubber outsole, and the traction pattern is pretty interesting. I guess it is multi-directional. It looks kind of like amoebas. I don't know. You know, like the cells. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Sorry. But anyways, how does the traction perform? It performs exceptionally well. It's awesome. It's top tier. It's amazing. All the good stuff, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, it's absolutely amazing. You're going to be stopping on a dime. It's going to feel like you're playing on glue or whatever. And also on a dusty setting, you're going to be good to go. It picks up very minimal dust, and also it's a really easy wipe. Like you just go boom and you're good to go. And that's it. And it doesn't pick up dust frequently at all either. So you're gonna be good to go if you're playing on a dusty setting. And also you don't really have to break in the traction at all. You know, some shoes that I've been playing in, I've been having to break in the traction, like the LeBron 19 Low. And it got a little bit better after breaking it in. But the KD15, it was good to go right out the box. Amazing traction, right? But if you're gonna be playing on an outdoor court, this is not a great option. The rubber is super soft. The grooves are really thin as well. So that, I guess if you're playing on an outdoor court, you probably shouldn't get it. But if you're playing on a clean court or just an indoor court in general, I feel like you're gonna have a very good time, because from my experience, I had a very good time when I was playing in the KD15 as far as the traction performance goes. Also here in the midfoot, we have a midfoot chain plate, and it is, you can see some holes through it. It's like perforated, which is pretty cool. Usually companies, they leave it solid, but in the KD15 we can see some holes through it, which I think is a cool design. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, also is very smooth, right? Here in the back of the heel, we have the rubber outsole coming out to cage the cushion a little bit. So it doesn't feel like as smooth as it could be, in my opinion, but it's still nice, right? We have a little bit of compression. It's a nice rounded shape as well. So it's nice in the heel. And then in the forefoot, we have a very nice curved shape and really good forefoot flex, but also we have good torsional support, right? And I don't really have any issues with my arches hurting that much. We'll get into that in cushion though, but overall heel to toe transition, when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, it's overall very smooth, and I also really like that bounce that you get from the Zoom Strobo unit. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup also is very nice. We have a full length Zoom Strobo unit right underneath your foot, and it's extremely bouncy. There's a lot of compression. One thing that I did notice, which it always happens to me when I'm playing full length Zoom Strobo, is that my feet hurt a little bit after playing it a long time. It doesn't hurt for like a couple of games, but if I play for a couple of hours, my feet start to hurt a little bit. And I just felt that, and it's been like that since the Zoom Strobo came out, right? So pretty normal for me, honestly, and I feel like a lot of you guys have said the same thing as well. So honestly, for me, it's really good. It's just I can't play in it for too long, right? And also, we were bamboozled. Remember when the leaks came out, it said that it was full length React. I honestly, I don't think it is, because if you look on Nike.com right now and look at the tech specs, it doesn't say anything about React. It actually just says soft foam. And it's honestly, it's not that soft, right? So here in the heel, there is a little bit of compression, which feels nice, but it's definitely a lot stiffer than the KD14. And also, like I said, we have the rubber outsole caging the back of the heel, so there's not as much compression, which is a good thing and a bad thing for some people, right? So some people thought the KD14 was a little too soft with the cushion. I loved it. The KD15 though is a lot more responsive and definitely stiffer. So if you thought the KD14 was a little too soft for you, the KD15 probably is a better option, right? But like I said, there's still a nice little compression here in the heel. Impact protection, of course, is amazing. Heel strikes, you're gonna be good to go if you're landing hard in your forefoot. Your feet are gonna feel comfortable as well. For the court feel, the court feel is still good, but it's not as good as some other shoes, right? So some shoes that have really good court feel is like the Curry 9, the PG6, the Harden Volume 6, and even the Giannis Immortality. They all have amazing court feel, right? It's not as low to the ground as those shoes, but it still has good court feel, and I don't really mind it all too much. Of course, it's nowhere as bad as LeBron's, so I would say for me it has good court feel. So overall cushioning setup is really nice, and it feels very similar to basically every shoe that has a full-length zoom strobe unit, right? It's just a good blend of everything. You know, step-in coverage good, there's nice bounce, you get nice compression here in the heel, impact protection is good, and you get good core feel. So overall, it's a really good all-around cushioning setup. All right, moving on to the material. So we have like a mesh material, right? And it's extremely easily moved. Like, look at this. It's just super soft. It conforms to your foot extremely well. And it's still like pretty supportive. It's not the most supportive material ever, but I really didn't have any issues with it being not supportive, right? And I feel like they kept the material and the shoe supportive where it needs to be supportive, right? So here in the forefoot, it feels really nice, and then in the midfoot, we have a very minimal feel as well, but of course we have this plastic cage for support. And then for the tongue, we have some nice padding. It feels very similar to the KD14. It feels nice and cozy on top of your foot. It's not as thick as like the PG6 or the Kyrie Infinity, but it has some padding to it, which feels nice. And of course, also it is a half booty construction tongue. And here at the bottom of the tongue, we have some perforations, right? And it's basically like a screen mesh, and we have some good ventilation through that as well. For the ankle area, we have an adequate amount of padding as well. I would say a little bit more than average. So on top of your foot and also in the ankle area, it feels nice and cozy. Not too bulky or anything though, which is a good thing. And then here in the forefoot and in the midfoot, we have a very nice minimal feel. It feels great on foot. And then as far as the material goes, here in the ankle area, it's like a nubuck, like a synthetic nubuck material. It doesn't feel great for quality, and also the mesh material isn't the best for quality, right? But I feel like it's definitely better than the KD14. And yeah, it feels great on foot. I really had zero issues with it. Nowhere in the shoe did I feel pinching. It wasn't uncomfortable or anything. It felt really good. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size, and it's a very, very snug fit, as per usual for a KD, right? So KDs always have a narrow and super snug fit, especially here in the forefoot, and I like that. In my ball shoes, I like to have a very snug fit, right? So my toes go pretty much right to the edge of the shoe, so lengthwise, I'm good to go. The forefoot was really snug at first, but it does stretch out a little bit, and it does get roomier as well. This mesh material definitely does stretch out. So if at first you feel like the toe box is a little snug, just keep in mind the material will stretch out and the fit will get roomier. And also it is a narrow fit, right? Look at that. It's super narrow, very, very pointy. So overall, I really like the fit, and I was good going true to size. If you have a wide foot or you want a roomier fit in your shoes, I would suggest going up half a size or maybe even a full size, or whatever size you were in the KD14, you can pretty much get the same size here in the KD15. So for support, lateral containment, I was good to go, right? So here on the lateral side, we have the foam coming up a little bit, acting as a sidewall, and we have a little bit of fuse too, right? And also in the midfoot, we have this plastic cage, which also the laces go through. So when you tighten up the laces, this plastic cage kind of like tightens around the midfoot area a little bit as well. So I was good to go here in the forefoot and midfoot. And then here in the heel, we also have like this midfoot cage kind of acting like an external heel counter. And also we have an internal TPU heel counter. So I was good to go for lateral containment. My foot was locked into the shoe, but lockdown in the heel wasn't great, right? I mean, like, it wasn't terrible or anything, but my heel just didn't feel completely locked down. So when I first got the shoe, for my first impressions, I didn't really notice it that much just because I was walking around in it and I didn't play in it yet, right? But then I got to playing in it, and comparing it to the other shoes that I'm testing right now, and also shoes that I like to play in, like the PG6 or the Curry 9, which have good lockdown in the heel. Like in the KD15, my heel was coming out of the shoe or like sliding out just a tiny bit. It definitely wasn't terrible, and I got used to it. But when I switched back into another shoe like the PG6 or whatever, I just definitely noticed a difference in heel lockdown. So it wasn't a deal breaker for me, but it was kind of annoying to play in, right? And even if I tightened down my laces a lot, I still felt that my heel wasn't completely locked down, and it didn't feel as locked down as I would like. It's comparing it to like every other shoe that I've been playing in, right? So do keep in mind for that, but like I said, it's not a huge deal. I feel like most people won't mind it that much, but if you want really good heel lockdown, then the KD15 doesn't have it. As far as lateral stability goes, I was good to go. I mean, we do have a wide base, nothing crazy as far as an outrigger goes, but you are quite low to the ground and we have a wide base, so lateral stability, I was good to go here in the KD15s. All right, moving on to the weight. This shoe, if I remember correctly, was around average, maybe a little bit heavier than average. Yeah, 12.73 ounces. Let's check the other pair, 12.63 ounces. So that's around average weight. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, I mean, it feels average in weight. It doesn't feel bulky at all though, right? Like I said, there's not too much foam or anything, especially here in the ankle area. It was great for me, but also it felt cozy. And then for the material here in the forefoot and midfoot, it felt extremely minimal. Also, this shoe feels extremely responsive and I feel really quick when I'm playing it because the traction is so damn good. You also get that nice little bounce from the zoom unit, and the heel is a little bit more responsive than the KD14. So yeah, you feel really quick when you're playing the shoe. All right, moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation was pretty good, right? So we do have some ventilation through these perforations in the tongue, like I mentioned before, and also through this mesh material there is a little bit of airflow too. So it's not the coolest shoe ever, especially comparing to like the Jordan 36, but it does have pretty good ventilation. Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. One thing I don't like about the design though is the heel area. This looks kind of weird. It looks like a shell to me, right? And it looks kind of like out of place. But everything else about the shoe, the design looks great to me in my personal opinion. But I don't like this colorway. This Volt colorway looks really you know. I don't like the blue colors here, and also for the outsole and midsole, this color is more like a mustard yellow color rather than Volt, and then the upper it's more like Volt, right? So you can definitely tell like in person. Hopefully you guys can see it on camera. I don't know if it's coming up, but in person you can definitely tell the difference between the color on the midsole and the upper, and it doesn't look too good in my opinion. So but other than that, it's a great looking shoe. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, KD15, amazing shoe. It's a top tier performer, amazing performer. I absolutely love playing this shoe. There were some things that were a little bit annoying, like the heel slippage, but it wasn't anything major, and I definitely didn't notice it all too much. I just really noticed it when I was like switching shoes, right? Switching from a shoe that has good lockdown to the KD15 and then back, I definitely noticed that, right? But if I, kept playing in the KD15, it wasn't a huge deal. So everything else about the shoe is amazing. Traction's top tier, cushion is amazing, materials feel great, support's great, it fits great, and it's an overall great looking shoe. So the KD15, I mean, if you liked the KD14 and you want a crazy cushioning setup with a full length zoom strobel unit, but you thought the KD14 was a little too mushy for the cushion, then the KD15 is an amazing option. And I feel like most people will enjoy this shoe. Like if you're a guard and you're looking for a responsive shoe, but with good cushion, then the KD15 is a great option. If you're a bigger dude, you're gonna be good to go as well. I mean, it has great support and great cushion. So anyways, that about concludes my review of the KD15. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.